There was a ton of scoring in the NFL in week 7. Our FanDuel cash lineup scored 129 points, while our GPP lineup topped 150 points. We'll go over all that and get you ready for week 8 with full cash and GPP lineups on FanDuel, all coming up next. Hello, everyone. I'm Eric Lee with the Fantasy Football Consultants. Oh my gosh, everyone, the football gods are cruel. Here I was watching the Sunday night game, the last game on the main slate, and I think you guys know I'm a huge Seattle Seahawks fan. Seattle at the time, undefeated, playing their arch rivals, Arizona, in the division. In Arizona, it's in overtime. Russell Wilson completes a short pass to DK Metcalf, and he takes it over 55 yards for the game-winning touchdown. I'm super excited. Even though I've watched football for many, many years, I make the cardinal mistake. Yeah, I said the word cardinal. The cardinal mistake of cheering before I waited to see if there were any flags on the play. And lo and behold, there was. Not only do my Seahawks go on and lose, but I think if Metcalf had kept that, who was in our cash lineup, we would have cashed in our cash lineup. But look, let's forget all about that. Happier things. I have to give it up to you guys. You guys have been sensational in the comments section. A ton of really great takes. It was actually really hard to limit it to my normal 2 top selections. I had to do top 3. Give it up to Brian Taylor, Roc Macg Eorge, and Rodney Williams for the Devonta Adams take, the Kyler Murray take, and Rodney making the really great take of the Kyler Murray to Chris and Kirk connection, who connected not once, but twice for touchdowns. All right, folks, please keep it up. So for week 8, go into the comment section and based on the players in the main slate, give us who you think is the best value and who will do really well. Also, tell us the reasons why. And of course, put your FanDuel username. I'll again add the best ones to the list. It's in the description section of all the qualifiers. And then later this year, we will have the top 19 people, the 19 people who qualified. We'll take me on FanDuel. FanDuel scoring, entering a full lineup. The winner gets $50. And then the following week, we'll do it all again for $50. So it should be a lot of fun. So get in those picks so we can fill out the rest of the qualifiers. All right, let's go into the FanDuel studio and take a look at week 8. All right, everybody, there are 11 games this week on the main slate, but there are going to be 4 that we're going to target. They are Tennessee and Cincinnati, Minnesota and Green Bay, Las Vegas and Cleveland, and San Francisco at Seattle. Why? Because those 4 games are by far the highest scoring games on the main slate, between 53.5 and 54.5. So we're going to attack that. So where are we going to start? Let's start at running back. Pop quiz, according to our NFL DFS masterclass, which is free on YouTube. Link at the top of the screen. According to that, what is the most important factor you should be considering in selecting a running back in cash games? Well, the answer is touches. And line up all the running backs in the NFL. And the guy that has the most touches, none other than Derrick Henry at an absurd 26. Now, I know what you guys are saying. Hey, he doesn't get involved in the passing game that much. And you're right, he doesn't. But on FanDuel, it is de-emphasized because of the half-point PPR, and it's more about scoring touchdowns. And when you get Derrick Henry in a good matchup, man, not only does he get a lot of carries, he gets a lot of touchdowns. And is he in a good matchup this week? Oh, yeah, playing the Cincinnati Bengals. First of all, he has an implied total of 30. That's ridiculous. Tennessee is expected to score 30 points, according to the lines makers. And he plays a very poor Cincinnati defense, especially against the run. I know he's expensive, folks, but just look at Derrick Henry in the face, and he's going to tell you, show me the money. And we will show him the money and pay the $9,500. All right, I went a little nuts there. So you may be thinking, Eric, I need to save money with my other running back. Bah humbug. I will spend some money at the other running back too. Remember, if you're going to spend money, running backs are the ones that return value the most. So it makes sense. And speaking of a running back who checks all of the boxes, that is Kareem Hunt. What do we say in our NFL Masterclass? Pick a running back that is at home. Well, check. Pick a running back that's favored. The Cleveland Browns favored this week. Pick one that gets involved in the passing game and gets touches and is the goal line back. With Nick Chubb out, all those things are the case. And by the way, go against a team, a little extra cherry on the pot, on top, that doesn't have a good defense. So the Las Vegas Raiders, their defense, I think, has the motto, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, since they've done so poorly, 26th rank overall. So with Derrick Henry and Kareem Hunt as our two running backs, I feel like this is a really strong start to our lineup. I know what you guys are saying. You fiscally conservative people out there, Eric, you need to save your money now. After all, you just spent a ton of load on Derrick Henry. You know what I say to that? Bah humbug. I'm looking at Devonta Adams here. And Devonta Adams, boy. Now, normally, I really love picking Devonta Adams when Aaron Jones is out, or picking Aaron Jones when Devonta Adams is out. But Devonta Adams is in such a juicy matchup this week playing Minnesota. Gee, how did he do the last time he played Minnesota, which was in week 1? Not too much. 14 catches on 17 targets, 156 yards, and 2 TDs. He was big last week. He comes at a hefty price tag of $9,100. I'm just going to use this motto. Make it work. I'm going to make it work in my lineup. So I'm going to add Devonta Adams at 9,100. So if we take a step back, not only do we have 3 stars, we have 3 stars in really good matchups in super high scoring game. So we got to get serious, folks, now. We got to look for some bargains to fill out this lineup. But I don't want to suffer in talent. I still want to get a number 1 wide receiver in a game which, again, is really high scoring. Well, at only 5,900, and because of this gentleman right here, Odell Beckham Jr., unfortunately out for the year. But if you can take advantage of a situation in some way, it's your duty as an American to do it. We will. At only $5,800, let's say welcome to Jarvis Landry to our lineup. Look, guys, love Jarvis Landry's matchup. I just talked about that Las Vegas Raiders defense. Not good overall, particularly not good against the pass. Landry becomes the number 1 wide receiver. He gets consistently targeted. I think that's going to blip up, not only because it's against the Raiders, but because Odell Beckham is gone. So feel good about Jarvis Landry. Now, where am I going to go? Where I'm still going to save money. I'm still going to get a wide receiver who's number 1 in a high-scoring game. It's Brandon Ayuk at $5,900. Look, guys, couple things you need to note about the San Francisco 49ers. They are hurting. Deebo Samuels will not play in this game. So that's why I say Brandon Ayuk is the number one wide receiver. You might say, well, look, Eric, the 49ers aren't a real passing team. They're going to rely on the run. Well, I got news for you. They're not going to do it with Tevin Coleman. They're not going to do it with Raheem Mostert. And they're not going to do it with Jeff Wilson. All of those guys are out. They're down to Jerick McKinnon. And by the way, they play a Seattle Seahawks team that is a ton better against the run. I know them. I watch their games. They actually do a pretty good job of stopping the run. What do they do a poor job of? Well, two things. They do a poor job of putting pressure on the quarterback. So I expect a lot of time for Jimmy Garoppolo. And the second thing that they do poor job of is defending wide receivers. So I think Brandon Ayuk is a steal here on FanDuel at only $5,900, coming off a pretty darn good game against a defense that is very tough on wide receivers. All right, where are we going to go? Because we just went spin crazy with our first three picks, we've got to be disciplined at tight end. We can't afford a top tight end, but I think there's a guy here that does provide some value here that I think is in a very good matchup. And only $5,400, let's welcome Jimmy Graham to our lineup. You know, you attack New Orleans in the air, not on the ground. But when you attack them in the air, you got to be careful to avoid Marshawn Lattimore. That's why the New Orleans Saints is ranked second to last against tight ends this year. Jimmy Garoppolo, clearly the number one tight end on the Chicago Bears. Since Nick Foles has taken over for quarterback, he has averaged, Jimmy Graham, 6.8 targets a game. So he gives you a very consistent floor. Plus, he has seen a lot of red zone targets. I think that the Bears are going to be passing a lot in this game, struggling to keep up with the New Orleans Saints. So at $5,400, happy to have Jimmy Graham in our lineup. All right, now that we spent all this money on running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends, we got a little bit of lay of the land to figure out where do we want to go at quarterback. Well, I am personally super excited to save some money and get this particular guy in my lineup. And it's a guy who I've really been touting from ever since week one. It's Joe Burrow, folks. Joe Burrow is the real deal, guys. 6 of the last 7 games, Joe Burrow has thrown for 300 yards or more. He is blessed with a bunch of great weapons on his offense. He has A.J. Green, who's come alive over the last couple of weeks. He has Tyler Boyd. He has T. Higgins. He has Gio Bernard out of the backfield. I'm not sure if he will have Joe Mixon, but it doesn't matter. I think Joe Mixon would be a great target out of the backfield for him. But also, if they don't have Joe Mixon, I think they're going to even have to rely on the pass even more. So either way, I'm really happy to have Joe Burrow in our lineup. All right. So we don't have a lot of money left. I wonder why. So we're going to have to save big time money at our flex. And here's where we're going to do it. We're going to do it in that San Francisco-Seattle game. I tell you guys, it is not good to be a running back in this game. Ton of injuries. We already talked about the San Francisco side. Let's talk about the Seattle Seahawks side. Okay, I am pretty sure that Chris Carson is going to be out this game. They originally said he's week to week. We obviously are going to monitor that. If Chris Carson is out, now the next question is, the next man up is Carlos Hyde. There's a question whether Carlos Hyde would play. The next man up is Travis Homer. There's a question of Travis Homer playing. So it would then go to DJ Dallas. Look, guys, right now I am going to put Carlos Hyde into my lineup. That is under the assumption that Chris Carson is out and Carlos Hyde is playing. If that is the case, Carlos Hyde will get at least 2/3 of the carries. He'll be the goal line back, and he will get some pass receptions. And he's a home favorite running back at only $5,000. Now, I'm not trying to sell you a bill of goods here. He faces a very, a tough matchup. Against the run, they're middle of the road, but that is a good rush defense by the San Francisco 49ers. I have a lot of respect for them, so it's not the best matchup, but he really ticks off all the rest of the boxes at a ridiculously low $5,000, and we could use the savings. All right, our defense, well, there isn't a lot of defense to choose from since we went spin crazy early on. But the defense I am eyeing is the Detroit Lions. All right, I'll fully admit they're a punt defense, but they're at home in a close matchup. They do not think the Colts are going to blow them out. I think it's a they're 3-point underdogs. But they're going against an Indianapolis team that hasn't necessarily done a great job running the ball. So to have major success, the likelihood is they're going to have to throw the ball. And I don't need to tell you guys that Phillip Rivers, he is absolutely susceptible to make mistakes. Look, at 3,400, it's a punt play, but it's a punt play that I think that I'm comfortable doing. And that is my cash lineup. Joe Burrow, Derrick Henry, Kareem Hunt, Devonta Adams, Jarvis Landry, Brandon Ayuk, Jimmy Graham, Carlos Hyde, and the Detroit Lions. All right, let's switch to GPP. You can see the GPP lineup on the screen. And of course, we're going to start with the stack. And of course, we're going to pick on one of those 4 key games. And the game I am choosing to attack is the Minnesota Green Bay game. And that's Aaron Rodgers to Devonta Adams. Very expensive stack, I know, but that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to bring it back with the biggest deep threat, the guy that gets a lot of air yards, Justin Jefferson. I already talked about why I like Brandon Ayuk. Let's talk about the running backs. Jonathan Taylor. Now, if you believe the game script, that Indianapolis is going to be ahead for most of this game, they're 3-point favorites of Detroit, then Jonathan Taylor can very well do well. Now, if they get behind, it's disaster for Jonathan Taylor because Nyheim Hines comes in. But if they're ahead, they're going to run the ball with Jonathan Taylor against a Detroit defense, well, that doesn't do a good job against the rush at all. All right. Got to watch the news here for our tight end. We're going with Harrison Bryant. Harrison Bryant is the number 1 tight end on Cleveland, not David Njoku. Harrison Bryant, if, and this is a big if Austin Hooper is out. Note last week, Austin Hooper was out, and Harrison Bryant had a very good game. So we got him in our lineup. And the other guy that we're going to include is the ton of high air yards that we get out of A.J. Brown. Again, game script, another game that we think is going to be a high over and under. And we constructed this lineup in a way that we made sure that we had enough money for the Kansas City Chiefs. They're the most expensive defense. We don't often pay up for a defense, but I think we got to make an exception here with the Chiefs as the best team in the NFL and the Jets as the worst team in the NFL, causing the Chiefs to be monster 19.5-point favorites at home.
Inconceivable!
You know what? And it's not just any Chief team that's that monster favorite. their defense and special teams have been really good this year. Routinely putting pressure on the quarterback, forcing turnovers, and they play the Jets. Oh, gosh. The Jets are so bad. And given a game script, which is not hard to see as a 19.5-point favorite, where the Chiefs jump way ahead, this could be just a disaster game for the Jets, where they're throwing the ball on every down. If you made it far into this video, please go ahead, smash that like button, and join the FFC community. There's still a lot of people who watch our content who are not subscribed. Please do us a favor. It's free. Hit that red subscriber button. And as we will not see you for another week, until then, please don't forget to vote, stay safe, and we will see you next Wednesday. Take care, everybody.